This video I want to address, I think, debunk a sci-fi trope. The aliens are just so much smarter than us that we can't comprehend their seemingly evil actions. I can be nice or torture everything from a lizard to a snail. Hell, I could torture a single-cell organism if I know what it wants and then just keep taking its food away. Or putting it in a solution that damages it over and over again, keeping it in a constant state of being alive and suffering. We can debate if there is a mind in there, if there is some subjective I that is experiencing life on top of just automatic responses to stimuli. But anything smarter than humans would recognize that humans are intelligent, no matter how much more intelligent they might be. You would consider someone a psychopath for torturing even the most basic animal. And we have an intuitive sense that gets worse the closer it gets to a fully thinking human mind, moving up from mice to dogs and elephants and chimpanzees. People find ways to rationalize the cruel behavior of aliens, be they reapers or some Lovecraftian Cthullu type force, all the way to gray aliens or angels. But I want to get across the point that there is a qualitative jump. Once you know for sure that there is an I experiencing the world, you should not cause unnecessary harm to that individual. People that abstain from meat for moral reasons feel that the animal has a mind in there. Some people that eat meat don't think that's true. Maybe at most there is a vague experiencing of things, but it doesn't have a sense of self. Personally, I think that is a hard mental maneuver to make, but I do eat meat. But I've tried to be vegetarian a bunch of times, and my body just didn't really like it. And still, even when enjoying meat, knowing that it came from something that didn't want to die, I still hope that the animal lived the best life possible and died in the quickest and most painless way. Meat eaters are still horrified by animal abuse, even if that might seem like a contradiction, but I just feel like I'm following the parameters imposed on me by my environment and evolution. But when I do eat that steak, it's not because I'm some super advanced species so unfathomably beyond the understanding of the cow that it allows me to do so. I just feel like I'm acting on the parameters that gave rise to my body, the product of human evolution on Earth. And if I can't think outside of that, if it is because of my intellectual shortcomings, which are tied to empathy, people like to talk about how evil humans are, but it really is a basic feature of theory of mind that you can't even be empathetic without sufficient intelligence, and empathy does increase with more intelligence. That seems crazy because of the great tech humans have, and the complex ways we can think of hurting others. But it is simply a fact that second-order thinking increases with complex organisms and intelligence. A famous experiment with chimps wanted to see how many orders of thinking they could apply to their actions. If I do X, then my friend will think Y, which will cause him to do Z, and it is in these social mammals that you get higher intelligence and empathy, or this thinking about how others feel, which is why you see the highest intelligence in the chimps, dolphins, elephants, even pigs. They're mostly mammals, and it's why cases like the octopus and crow are so unique. But still, an understanding of the suffering of others is tied to their intelligence. Nobody thinks a bug is being good or evil. I know it's boring, but the aliens in fiction, or reality for that matter if you believe it, these aliens that go through no effort to try and explain themselves to us and do things that they know will terrorize us or cause pain, are doing so simply because they are cruel, not because of some deep reasoning that us mere mortals could never understand. We supposedly so inferior humans try to keep things orderly and predictable to help infants or dogs understand cause and effect. The rules we have for them and the punishments are meant to make sense, and then we explain to them and try and comfort them. In many ways, we're dictators over our kids and pets, but we don't try to be cruel, and a lot of the suffering is because we simply can't find a way to make them understand. These aliens that are supposedly of such a higher intelligence should be able to do this even better. Even the actual worst case of racism in English colonies in Africa was more benevolent than a lot of the aliens in sci-fi that people like to jump through hoops to defend. The racial theories that held that the colonizers were intellectually superior and that their systems would provide for a better life for the natives that simply couldn't understand what they were trying to do, imposing this system on them in every way from language to clothing and city layouts, doing all this against their will. But many also wrote and spread that message to the people that they were trying to change. These supposedly super advanced alien races have less empathy than actual colonial racists. Seriously, I don't think many people think of it like that when they try and rationalize things like Lovecraftian entities. Again, be they gray aliens kidnapping people in the night, experimenting on them and doing all these things that any reasonable entity should be able to understand would be very traumatic. And same with the Reapers. Do this slow, terrorizing process of destroying entire cities, capturing and harvesting bodies. You can't have it both ways. Maybe this was just the only way they could carry out their goals. But then they don't get the pass that there's some super enlightened entities beyond our understanding. They're like a starving hunter who sets a trap in the forest. That trap may lead to the slow, torturous death of an animal, but the hunter's just following his evolution too. There's no great morality beyond that. The hunter doesn't claim that this fate imposed on the rabbit actually has some super abstract high-level meaning. It's just one creature having its way with another in order to survive. And I know you might be saying they see us as unfathomably lower, less than we would even see dogs, because their intelligence is greater than us by 1% more than we are compared to an ant. I think that is silly. Again, if these aliens are intelligent, then they know we have a subjective sense of I. We think and feel. We can understand things and suffer greatly. So don't abduct us in the most insane, terrorizing ways possible. Don't stomp around our cities laser beaming people. Euthanize us. We supposedly lowly humans have more humane ways to harvest our animals. If the Reapers couldn't think of a way to euthanize us, or use their indoctrination abilities to make it seem like a pleasant thing, an overdose of copium, as we willingly and happily surrendered to them, same for all Lovecraftian entities. If they can't figure out ways to do that, then I don't believe they're so unfathomably more intelligent than us. The simple answer is that they are just evil. If they are doing something that obviously would be torturous to us, and you think they're intelligent enough to come with other ways to do so, then the simple answer is they're just evil. Again, it's worse than some of the worst examples of human history. One racist colonizer hunts natives like sport, where another builds a school for them. They both may share the same racist mindset, but in this comparison, saying that they are more intelligent or technologically advanced doesn't matter. For sure, the one carelessly hunting down another intelligent creature with a sense of self is evil. I think any advanced alien species would lump all the creatures in existence that have a sense of I, a sense of self, into a qualitatively different category. Humans may very well be the dumbest creatures in that category in the entire universe, but we're still in the club. Any species across the stars that can utter the phrase, I think, therefore I am, would be worked with, and a supposedly advanced species with higher intelligence and capacity for higher empathy would not enjoy causing our suffering unless they were just evil. Again, they might still conquer us, they would impose their system on us, but it would be the difference between mindlessly killing us and trying to build schools for us. And so though fascinating, it really is one of my favorite tropes. Everything from Lovecraft to the Three-Body Problem series, which plays with entities so advanced that they can manipulate the fabric of space-time, the very rules of physics. There are tons of works that have these aliens being callously dismissive of us. But the more you think about it, I really do think it's some kind of stoner reaction. The what if, man? That just doesn't really hold up if you examine it. Of course, a lot of intelligent people will disagree on this, but I could have included tons of other examples. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know it's great for writing cosmic horror, and even in things like Mass Effect, the Reapers could think that they were preserving all the species they were capturing. I understand all that, but even in their best-case argument, I think it's just an unrealistic portrayal, too big of a gap and disconnect between intelligence and empathy. I can already hear a bunch of different counterpoints, but let me know what you think in the comments.